Hello everyone, welcome back to Jikook Diaries Chanel. There are moments in life that don't need words. A glance, a breath, a barely there smile sometimes. That's all it takes to turn time into something eternal. That's exactly what happened when Jungkook looked at Jimin during one of the most vulnerable, honest moments ever caught on camera. And when it happened, even ARMY who have seen it all were left completely silent. It began like any other segment. A soft light, quiet background music. The boys seated in a casual yet intimate setting. But there was something different in the air. Jimin's eyes held a weight, as if his heart had decided to finally share something it had been holding back. He wasn't performing. He wasn't acting. He was just Jimin, stripped of his idol persona. His voice cracked slightly as he spoke about the pressure, the fear, the expectations, and the emotional loneliness that often shadows even the brightest stage lights. He didn't say Jungkook's name at first, but his words floated in the air between them like a secret only they understood. And Jungkook? He didn't interrupt. He didn't blink too fast. He just looked. But not just any look, it was the kind of gaze that speaks volumes. His eyes shimmered, not from tears, but from something deeper, an emotion too complex to pin down. Pride, pain, admiration, protection, love. It was as if time froze, and all the noise of the world faded away. Armies watching held their breath, because in that moment you could feel something pass between them. Something invisible but unshakable. When Jimin finally looked up, their eyes met. No words, just that look, and everything was understood. Some fans described it as a soul connection. Others said it felt like watching two hearts whisper to each other in silence. What made this moment so powerful wasn't grand gestures or dramatic declarations, it was how quietly real it was. Jungkook has always been someone who feels deeply but expresses subtly. But when it comes to Jimin, those emotions rise to the surface in the most beautiful ways. You can see it in how he listens when Jimin speaks, how his body instinctively leans in as if drawn by a magnetic pull, how his fingers twitch ever so slightly like he's holding himself back from reaching out. This wasn't a scripted performance or a fan service act. This was raw, honest, undeniable, and armies knew. They felt it in their bones. It was a moment so intimate, so sincere, that even the most outspoken fans chose to just sit in silence. Because what could be said that wouldn't pale in comparison to what was just witnessed? The timeline was quiet, not out of apathy, but out of reverence. Everyone who saw that moment understood that something had shifted. Something between Jimin and Jungkook, yes, but also something within us as fans. It reminded us why we care so deeply, why we watch every little interaction with wide eyes and full hearts. It reminded us that beyond the music, beyond the performances, there are two souls on a journey together. This moment will be rewatched, reposted, analyzed, and cherished for years. But no matter how many times it plays on loop, nothing will quite match the first time you saw it happen. That first realization that you had just witnessed something real. That glance. That truth. Jungkook's look at Jimin wasn't just a reaction. It was a promise. A quiet one, spoken without words. I see you. I hear you. I'm with you. And in that silence, the entire army understood. And perhaps that's the beauty of a connection so deep it doesn't require words to be understood. Jungkook didn't have to say anything. Jimin didn't have to explain further. Because in that look, everything was said. For ARMY, this moment wasn't just another interaction. It was a reminder that behind the glitz and glamour of the stage and the glare of the cameras, there are two people caring for each other in a way that only those who truly see can understand. Even after the moment had passed, its echo lingered. You could almost hear it in the silence that followed, the quiet aftermath of vulnerability shared and accepted. It wasn't about who said what or how many cameras captured it. It was about how deeply two hearts seemed to beat in rhythm, even when surrounded by a world that often demands masks and perfection. In the hours after the clip aired, armies all over the world found themselves staring at their screens, replaying the same scene over and over again. Some cried without knowing exactly why. Others found a strange comfort in it, a reminder that emotional truth still exists in the most unexpected places. And many fans simply sat in that silence, letting the tears fall and the emotions settle. What Jungkook did in that moment was more than just see Jimin. It was as if he gave him permission to be, to feel, and to fall apart if he needed to. There was no judgment in his gaze, only unwavering presence. The kind of presence that says, even if the world doesn't understand you, I do. That's the kind of connection that changes people, not just the people in it, but the ones who witness it too. Fans started sharing their own stories of vulnerability, of how that moment gave them the courage to open up to someone they love, or to finally forgive themselves for the times they felt weak. That simple glance sparked a ripple effect across oceans and languages. It reminded everyone that healing can start from being seen, truly seen. And Jimin, in his bravery, showed the world that even the strongest hearts can hurt. He reminded us that it's okay to be soft in a world that tells you to be hard. That it's okay to cry, to stumble, to need someone. And Jungkook, he showed us what it means to stand beside someone during those moments, not with fanfare, not with grand declarations, but with a look that says, I'm here. There's a reason armies hold onto these moments. It's because they reveal the layers beneath the surface, the honest, raw truth of what it means to be human, to connect, to love quietly but fiercely. We don't watch Jungkook just for the smiles and playful banter. We watch because sometimes they remind us of the kind of connection we all hope to find. One that doesn't need constant words or explanations. One that simply is. And maybe, just maybe, that's why we all went silent. Because deep down, we recognized something sacred. Something we didn't want to spoil with commentary or memes. We just wanted to feel it, to hold it close, to remember what it's like to be moved without needing to know why. In the end, this wasn't just about Jungkook and Jimin. It was about all of us. About the silent promises we make to those we love. About the way we support the people we care about when they open their hearts. About the power of presence, of empathy, and of love that doesn't shout, but whispers gently, you're not alone. And if there's one thing we'll never forget, it's that look. Because sometimes, a single glance can change everything. Jungkook's look at Jimin is proof that the most sincere feelings are often expressed in silence. And as the world paused to watch these two, we all knew this wasn't just a story about an idol and a fan. It was a story about the bond of souls, the courage to open our hearts, and love in its purest form. Thank you for witnessing this moment with us. See you in the next Jungkook story, because every second spent with them is always irreplaceable. Purple Heart.